So I've been living in Australia for the last 16 years. And in this video, I'll talk about the reasons why I love living in Australia. Without wasting a single minute, let's discuss about these reasons. The first one is Multicultural Society. As some of you might be already aware that Australia is one of the most successful multicultural societies in the world, with around 27.6% of the population born overseas. One of the things I really love about living in this multicultural society is that you get to know about different cultures. You get to meet people from all around the world. So whichever continent you can think of, people from those continents are here in Australia. And apart from meeting and learning about new cultures, you also tend to learn about new languages as well. Learning about cultures, languages definitely help you to open up and broaden your mind as well. And don't even get started on the food. One of the most interesting part of a multicultural society is that we get to try different type of foods here in Australia. So you can find different type of cuisines from different countries. So if you want to try anything Asian, you can try that, or you want to try anything European or African or any other country out in the world. You can pretty much find all cuisines here in Australia. One of my favorite one apart from Indian cuisine is Mexican food. More like Tex-Mex sort of thing, where I love eating burritos, nachos, tacos and so on. They are some of my favorite things to eat. And I'm not sure if I will be able to say the same thing if I was still living back home. And apart from that, these multicultural society usually organize multiple events throughout the year. So for example, here in Melbourne, a few weeks back, there was a Greek festival. It was a great event organized by the Greek community here in Melbourne, and we get to learn about the culture, their traditions, food, dresses and so on. And just before that, we saw Chinese New Year celebrations, and obviously in next week or so we will be seeing Holi festival as well. So that is another thing that I really love. We get to experience multiple cultural events throughout the year in the country. Now let's move to the second part, which is natural beauty. Now people don't realize actually Australia is a huge country. To go from one side to the other by plane can take anywhere 3 to 4 hours. It's huge. And when you travel to Australia, you'll get to see beautiful landscapes. That includes beaches, mountains, including snowfall and desert in the same country. So you have a whole package of natural attractions that you can see here in Australia. Some of the popular ones include Great Barrier Reef, Blue Mountains, Valparaiso, Cradle Mountain, Rottnest Island and many other places. Being living here in Melbourne, I would definitely recommend you to travel to Great Ocean Road if you are planning to come here in Australia. It's one of my favorite activities to do during summer. You can drive around this whole beautiful road and it's such a scenic place. You'll definitely don't want to miss out. The next one is the quality of life here in Australia. Australia consistently ranked in the top high quality of life living countries in the world. So Australia has a great public school system. Apart from that, the healthcare system, also known as Medicare, is universal for everyone. And comparing to many other countries, Australia is quite less polluted. As an example, when I used to work back home in India and I used to wear a white shirt, and when I usually return back home after work, the collar used to turn into complete black. It was just quite disgusting. By the end of the day, the shirt, you don't want to even look at it. But here in Australia, if you wear a white shirt, you'll be perfectly fine sometimes to wear it for the next day as well. Unless obviously you're sweating too much. In that case, yeah, change it. And if you have kids, you want to raise your family, it's a really good destination to be in. The next thing I really love about Australia is work. So Australia has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the world. At the moment, it is around 3.5%. Obviously, after pandemic, it has actually dropped down quite significantly because of lack of immigration. But usually it's around 5 to 6% in the previous times. It is still considered quite low comparing to many other countries. And the pay rates are usually quite good. So there is a minimum wage rate here in Australia, which means that you are effectively not gonna get less money than that minimum wage. At the moment, that wage rate is $21.38 per hour. Every year, this number gets reviewed and usually gets updated. And the workplaces are usually quite friendly, flexible, and quite casual in nature as well. The workers are usually treated fairly at workplace, regardless of their immigration status. And usually bosses are pretty easy to work with as well. Of course, there will be some odd cases, as you can imagine in any other country as well. If you really want to know more about Australian workplace culture, I highly recommend you to check one of our previous videos, where I explain everything about what you need to know about Australian Australian workplaces. We'll put the link of that in the description as well. The next point I really like about Australia is the safety. So Australia has a very low crime rate, and the country has quite stable political system as well. And even though Australia is a multicultural society, people usually live here in harmony. So it's easy to say that it is quite a peaceful society. Of course, as you can imagine, there are some bad apples in any society, so you could experience sometimes petty thefts or petty crimes here and there, but generally speaking, it is quite safe to travel even if you are doing travel by yourself in the night. Of course, you have to use some common sense in certain times and in certain areas. It's just a normal thing to do so, but nonetheless, it's quite safe country to live in. And one of the things that government really does well is encourage inclusivity, which is all about encouraging people to include people from different backgrounds, cultures, races, religions, gender, and try to make a society where people can live without a fear of racism, discrimination, and so on, which is one of the reasons why I love living here. The next one is the people. Now, if we specifically talk about local Australians, I find them very honest, quite open-minded, and very fair people. Most of the time, they're quite respectful, they treat everyone fairly, and they expect the same back from you as well. And you'll find them quite funny as well, as they're known for their humor. Also, Australians usually believe in quite a laid-back and chilled lifestyle. So a lot of time, they do take things quite easy as well. Of course, there could be some bad apples in any society, like you can imagine, but generally speaking, Australians are quite good in nature. And last but not the least point is education. So I came to Australia to do my master's degree in accounting, and I find that the Australian education system is quite different to many other countries out there. As I was doing my master's, I realized that there was a more emphasis on the practical side of the things than the theory. And students are usually encouraged to do a lot of research for their assignments, and self-learning is also encouraged. Even university culture is usually quite casual, where you can even call your teachers by their first name. And you don't need to be dressing too formal when going to universities here in Australia. And as I still work in education industry, I can tell that education system, comparative to many other countries out there, is quite different, unique, and it does focus a lot on the practical approach, which of course many students do enjoy. So these are some of the points that I really liked about Australia, and that is why I love living here. Now, if you have any question about Australia in general, please put that in the comment section below. I would love to hear your comments and thoughts as well. And if you want me to make a video on some of the things that I don't like about Australia, please let me know in the comment section as well. I look forward to your comments. And if you find any value in the video, please make sure to share, like, and subscribe as well. As always, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. And because you have watched the video till the end, I just want to tell one more thing that I really like about Australia, which is that people don't interfere in your life. Your neighbors don't have any problem in the things you're doing. As an example, I've been living in this house for last 2 years and I don't even know who my neighbors are. So there is no interference from other people outside your life about how you choose to live your life, which is a blessing in disguise if you're coming from some of the Asian countries where all your neighbors know what everything that you do in your life. I hope you find information useful. See you in the next one. Pew, pew.